as president on June 1st, 2018. This is her second State of the University address, and I know she's been working hard to prepare an address that is highly informative, while also being succinct enough to allow for the Q&A session that will take place afterwards. Please help me now in welcoming to the podium President Gloria Gibson.
Thank you, Vicki. Thank you to all of you who are assembled today, and I want to say thank you to Faculty Senate. I do appreciate your leadership and service and the opportunity to address the university community. I want to say good afternoon to everyone. So, is that what this is going to be?
I want to ask if we could please, we will have a question and answer session. There will be time to engage in questions at that time, but I know that we have slides planned about our enrollment, our budget, many of the issues that we're facing as a university. So if we could just civilly give our attention to the president to allow her to give an address, and then we can have our discussion. Thank you.
I would ask that you let me deliver my address, please. I would ask that you give me that respect. I do want to say good afternoon to everyone. I am happy to deliver my second State of the University address, and it is my honor to serve here at Northeastern, to serve the faculty, the staff, and the students, and the alumni that are here. I do extend my welcome to those who are live streaming and who could not be here today. This afternoon, as Vicki said, I will focus on our achievements, our ongoing challenges, priorities, and future directions, as they were outlined in the Transition Committee report. I'll leave time, and I look forward to whatever questions you have. I am joined on the stage by my cabinet, who I may in fact ask to help me as I address your questions. I want to start with just a few items that pertain to our recent campus achievements. First and foremost, I do want to acknowledge our new provost, Dr. Dennis Leong. I also want to acknowledge all of that good work. Thank you for the great work that you do each and every day. I want to highlight just a few other achievements that we are all proud of. We are, as a university, ranked #1 in a number of areas. As you know, we are ranked #1 for the lowest student debt. NEIU graduates its students with the least amount of debt in the Midwest among regional universities. We are ranked #1 for social mobility among Illinois public universities, which demonstrates movement up the socioeconomic ladder. This is great for our students. We, of course, are ranked #1 in Illinois for being one of the most secure campuses. We are ranked #1 by Washington Monthly Magazine as one of the nation's best colleges for adult learners. And we're ranked #2 for the nation's most diverse managerial staff. The Chronicle of Higher Education ranked Northeastern 2nd in the nation among four-year public institutions for diversity among managers. So again, this is not one person. This is all of us working together to achieve these rankings. The two primary goals that I stated during my inaugural address and my first State of the Union address, those goals have not changed. They are access and opportunity and student success. These goals, along with inclusion and equity, remain the most important. The question remains, how do we reach potential students, whether they are first-generation students, students of color, adult learners, transfer students, veterans, students who have different ability levels. And how do we reach them and bring them to El Centro, Carruthers, and this campus location? Enrolling students is just the beginning. As an HSI, we want to work and provide the support to ensure success of our Latino students, our African American students, our immigrant students, first generation, all students who enter our portals. We must continuously ask, do we have the academic and student services in place to provide an excellent educational support that is necessary? After a little over a year serving as president, we have made some strides, but we have so much more work to do. As we all know, we need more resources. While we are appreciative of our 5% increase last year, remember that 5% increase was on about a little over a third of our overall budget. As you can see by this slide, we have not returned to our 2015 funding level. There is some optimism because we did receive an increase last year, and because Governor Pritzker and the state legislature are supportive of higher education. However, as the legislative session starts early next year, upward. This next slide shows where funding comes from and our expenditures. 60% tuition and about 40% state appropriation. And almost 80% of our total operating budget is dedicated to personnel costs. So this is just a quick way of looking at how the money comes in and how the money goes out. At NEIU, about half our students are full-time and half are part-time. When we examine IPED's data, it is the first time full-time students who serve as the primary data point. From 2015, we saw an increase in students, and then last year, 2018, a steep decline. This fall, we're flat. It is these students who are tracked for our 4-year and 6-year graduation rates. There at the end, you see that for next year, we have a goal of increasing our enrollments at least 5%. We're hoping better, but at least 5%. So, moving forward, how do we work together to increase our enrollments? Well, there are a number of things that have already been put in place and other things that we plan to do. First and foremost, we have to have the technology. Most universities have very advanced technology systems that automatically alert students as to when to do what, to welcome them. So we have started to purchase some of that technology last year, and we're continuing it this year. We need to increase our application pool, expedite processing, and increase yield. All three of those are very important. While we are processing applications, other universities are doing it at a much faster rate. So we need to be on the cutting edge of expediting that process, and that will increase yield. Our yield, and when I say yield, I mean how many applications we received and how many students ended up coming to our university. So that percentage did increase this year. But again, we're not where we need to be. We need to develop an aggressive recruitment calendar, notifying students of their acceptance, but also about their financial package. And I know there are a lot of you that have college-age students, and when they get their letter of acceptance, everyone is very, very happy. But the next question is, how much money did I get? And so we need to be able to package that and say, yes, you were accepted, and here are your scholarships and the awards that you have received. We need to increase our international students. Increasing international students will increase the diversity of our campus, but it will also help us with the nest. And we know that our occupancy rates in the nest have been down. And if we don't reach those designated occupancy rates, we have to pay. And it is no secret. It was in the board report. What we paid last year, $2 million. $2 million. And we are at 40% occupancy this fall, which means we will have to pay. So getting students in that beautiful, beautiful complex. But international students is one way that we can increase that occupancy. We must continue to fund strategic marketing campaigns. We have a campaign going this fall. We will have one in the spring. We have to be aggressive. Other institutions are very aggressive. And not just institutions in Illinois. You see billboards from other states. People are coming in and recruiting from Chicago specifically because it is a diverse area. We need to increase our overall outreach to diverse communities here in Chicago. I have visited many communities. I've tried to make myself known to many of those communities, but there's still a lot of outreach work that we all are doing and need to do. We need to develop more innovative pipelines to NEIU, and two that we are very proud of that are recent is our MOU with Aspira graduates to come here to NEIU, and a pilot program at Roberto Clemente High School, where 2 of our faculty members will be on site at Roberto Clemente teaching high school students. And our goal is to recruit those students from Roberto Clemente here to NEIU. And we still need to come up with ways where we can strategically involve NEIU faculty and staff. And I thank all of the faculty and staff who have been active participants, and especially Faculty Senate for leading that initiative last year. And of course, one of the best ways to increase enrollments is to in fact keep and retain the students that we have. So let's look at retention. As you can see, our retention rates are climbing. Each and every one of you, each one of us, plays a very important and strategic role in the success of our students. In fact, branding and marketing, the study that we had done last year, many of you participated, that study characterized the university as compassionate and hardworking. In other words, our faculty and staff care about our students, and we work hard for their success. And whenever I'm out and I meet alums, they always tell me their NEIU story. And it is a story of compassion and a story of hard work. So we must all continue to enhance the efforts of helping students thrive in college, from admission to commencement, and also to help them with career readiness as they go through and matriculate through the university. We need to increase the number of internships that we provide for students. We need more research with faculty and students, whether undergraduate or graduate. And we need to develop culturally relevant pedagogy to enhance success. Active engagement with these practices will help our students succeed at a greater level. Our retention rates for African American students need to drastically improve. Before 2018, only 1 in 4 progressed from year 1 to year 2. There's this, and I can't give you all the reasons right now, but the one reason that I want you to understand is that the students can do the work. They can do the work. We're giving them an opportunity, and they can do the work. Last year, I found out that many African American students had acceptable GPAs. We had a panel of African American students. They had acceptable GPAs. But for whatever reasons, and we don't have time to go into those, they did not have a 67% federal financial aid completion rate. So that impacted their progress to degree. Other students on this very stage talked about the environment here at NEIU and how challenging that environment is. This year, as the chart indicates, because of several initiatives and the efforts of many of you, the rate increased to 49%. Again, not where it needs to be, but certainly better than what it was. For our Latino students, retention increased to almost 60%. While these accomplishments should be celebrated, we have a lot more work to do with our students. One other area where student progress is needed is really between year 2 and year 3. Year 1, we have a lot of services provided for students. Year 2, some of those services fall off. So we need external funding to help us with implementing a second-year experience for our students. Our upper division students with declared majors in college have very strong retention rates. In the College of Arts and Sciences, 83% of students are retained year over year. In the Goodwin College of Education, the retention rate is 88%. And in the College of Business and Management, the retention rate is 92%. Those are excellent retention rates. So it is year 1, year 2, making sure that we have wraparound services for our students so that once they get in their majors, they are very, very successful. We also know that it's not just the academic side of the house, it's also student affairs that plays an instrumental role with student success. One recent initiative started by Student Affairs is NEIU Cares, a student interaction survey. The survey measures student satisfaction of services. The survey is found on kiosks at participating offices, takes less than 30 seconds to complete, and provides valuable information about interactions with students and helps the division to improve the student experience. So we probably could use more of these after students leave, then just push a button and rate the experience. We're also looking at student experience through our climate study. This is the first ever campus-wide climate study, and it is underway with many of you participating and with the assistance of Rankin and Associates Consulting. This is the website, and I encourage you to visit and please participate in this year-long initiative. It's very important that everyone's voice is heard as we progress through this year. For my part, relating to campus climate, I plan to engage in better campus-wide communication, more transparency, and greater input related to many things across campus, and especially as we look forward to our spring Goodwin lecture, and many of those efforts have already started. I want to conclude my remarks with a brief discussion of the Transition Committee report. First, I have to thank everyone once again who participated last year. There were over 80 people, and there were more than that actually signed up. And I also had a small group of faculty and staff that helped me this summer with a massive amount of material and data that was collected. I want you to know that the Transition Committee report contains brilliant ideas. Brilliant ideas. Some short-term, some long-term. I will also want you to know that none of those ideas will be discarded. Not one. They are all important. They are all important because they came from you. They came from the campus. They emerged from the discussions and the meetings that you had. So, what I want to present to you, of course, there were short-term and long-term. There were all of these committees, and there are many, many ideas. And so what I want to present to you this afternoon is just a few that I will be discussing over the next few months that we might consider as a campus. Now, some of these we've already started, and it's a matter of additional planning. Sometimes it will be a matter of budget, staff, structure, but I think that these are ideas that emerged and are ready for us to have future discussions. The first one is to institute and, in some cases, improve culturally relevant pedagogy. This was a topic at our Faculty Institute. I know that there are faculty who have a focus, a very important focus on culturally relevant pedagogy. And so this is something that is very, very important to our campus. We need to implement a new customer relations management system. If you hear someone saying CRM, that's what it is. Customer Relations Management. What does it do? It reduces time needed to make application decisions and course enrollments. So it speeds up that, I'm simplifying, oversimplifying, but it speeds up that process for getting students into the university. Sort of related to campus climate, we need to assess perspectives and the needs for our specific student populations. It's understanding the identities and the cultural backgrounds, the geographic backgrounds of our students. We need to do more of that. We need to develop an infrastructure and marketing to attract pre-college, high school students to take summer classes here at NEIU and to actually get a jump start on college. We need to perform of current online and hybrid courses towards a strategic development of high-quality courses and programs for NEIU. So we should have at least one program online where students never have to set foot on campus, but they can enroll in that program. We need to strengthen our connections between career development and alumni relations to leverage resources and foster career pathways. This suggestion was very specific. It said, establish a UAC subcommittee to collect student, staff, and faculty satisfaction data. Support our recruiters by providing professional development and customer service skills and training sessions. Professional development is important for all of us. Improve our ability to tell personal stories through traditional and social media. And this is what I was saying earlier. Alums want to tell their story. Our students want to tell their stories. They're all very important. Develop 8-week courses beginning mid-semester, targeting students who drop general education or developmental courses. It gives students an opportunity, if something happens during the first 8 weeks, to take a course the second 8 weeks. Review, make consistent, and have a system for regular updates of campus signage, online directory, and web links. And this particular subcommittee wanted us to work towards digital messaging on Foster and Bryn Mawr. So those marquees, they want marquees there to, again, bring in people to the university. Create a self-designated interdisciplinary major whereby the student proposes a program of study with faculty advisors and the degree culminates in an interdisciplinary capstone project. Pilot a banded tuition program that allows 12 to 16 credit hours for the price of 12. And implement your last semester is on us. I think there's a typo there maybe. Your last semester is on us. Free tuition incentive for full-time students. And again, this is something that a task force is currently working on. The last recommendation from the transition committee that I really want to bring to your attention, because I think it's very, very important, and that is to create a student and family-oriented one-stop shop, a student success center that supports incoming freshmen and transfer students in their transition to NEIU and all students through their matriculation. So this center that is pictured here is actually at Kennedy King Community College, where a student can go in one place for the registrar, for academic support services, for advising, financial aid, bursar. They're not sent from place to place to place to place. And again, it may seem like a very simple concept, but it is one that promotes student success. So the last slide here, I'm sort of dreaming about the future as well. student careers. It is a message to the governor and to our legislature that we understand what those workforce needs are and that we are responsive to the needs of our state. If you think about the successes that we have had with our students, there are also students who came to NEIU and never finished. They never finished their degree. So I would like to bring back near completers to campus to finish their degrees either here on campus or via online. And develop a plan, working with the foundation, to help students pay. Do you realize that some of our students, the amount of money that they owe is under $5,000? It may be $2,000, it may be $3,000. But they stop out, they don't complete, and sometimes they don't come back. That's a loss. So let's develop a plan whereby we can get our near completers back to campus, find some money to support them so that they can complete their degree. And of course, the next option, the next item on the slide is that we start our next capital campaign. We need to start thinking about that, getting ideas together about what will be the focus. I'm sure, I have ideas, I'm sure you have ideas about how we can begin that next capital campaign for our students and for their success. We are in the process of hiring a VP for Finance and Administration. Some of you are probably on that search committee, and I thank you for your service. But I am looking for that new VP to bring in ideas about how we can improve our financial situation here at the university. So when you hear about the candidates coming to campus, probably in early December, please go to those presentations. Ask the hard questions, because we want someone to come in who is going to help us navigate the financial challenges that we have. And I put the last one here for fun. I want to, the word is investigate. Investigate. Reestablishing athletics. Investigate. Division III, NEIU, but why can't we have a soccer team? Why can't we have a basketball team? Men and women's. I think we can. I think it would help our school spirit. I think it would contribute again to student success. So that last one is just kind of for me to throw out to you. So in conclusion, we are all doing great work here at NEIU. We have one of the best universities in the state of Illinois because we do transform the lives of students, and we challenge them not only to dream, but to achieve their dreams. Thank you very much.
Now I'd like to remind you that the president is here at the request of the Senate. She has brought her cabinet, so this is a prime time to get questions answered. It's a rare opportunity to do that. There will be 2 mics. One will be April Nauman, who is the Vice Chair of the Senate, has one there, and I will come to the bottom of the upper tier of steps over here. We'll take turns back and forth between the 2 mics. And we ask, in order to get as many questions answered as possible, that you ask your questions succinctly, so that we can fit in lots of questions and feedback. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lenore Pettinger, and I'm a student. I will be graduating in December. I didn't expect that. I was encouraged to see you speak about student success, President Gibson. And what I'd like to bring up is the college requirement here of accumulating classes that are designated as boundary crossing credits. I've often heard professors who have tried to obtain this designation for their classes but can't. I've heard of students who can't find the courses to take that fit their schedule, which inhibits them from graduating in a timely manner. Most courses that are boundary crossing, most courses here I found are boundary crossing whether they have or do not have that designation. I would say every course I've taken here, whether it's been English or history, has bled into other subjects. An English course typically covers history, social justice issues, racism, gender identity, and so many more. NIU, I believe, is creating an obstacle that the student must overcome to graduate. And I really believe the entire process needs to be evaluated. Often I've also heard students that will take a boundary crossing course that happens to fit their schedule because they only have one time slot open, and it involves a course that they have absolutely no interest in. I don't think this adds to the value of their education. So I ask that you please evaluate whether we even need this requirement, and if so, can we not streamline the process so that more courses could be labeled as such and remove this barrier to our students who need to graduate? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question, and congratulations. I look forward to shaking your hand when you walk across the stage in December, right? Yeah, that's great, that's great. You know, there are, at most universities, barriers. There are barriers to success. And there are things that, as an institution, we're doing to ourselves. But it's not just that we're doing it to ourselves, they impact our students. So I certainly will direct the provost to look at these courses with the deans, boundary crossing courses, and to see how many, right now, I don't know how many are required, but this is an issue for our provost and for our deans, our chairs, and our faculty. And I am confident that we can look at the issue and come up with a solution. If a student needs a course, a student should have that course. And there shouldn't be these bottlenecks or barriers to students to complete their degrees. So I appreciate you bringing that to my attention, to our attention, and we'll do a little investigating. And during one of my messages that I send out to campus in the future, or during one of my open office hours, I will address that issue. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Allegra Harper. I am a TESOL graduate student here. I got my undergrad here and I'm graduating in December again. I have to say Northeastern has transformed my life and I have faced a lot of challenges, but I work on campus, and as many people as I meet who are lucky like me that found communities to support them and to teach them that academia is just another skill, and the knowledge you have outside of it is not bad. I feel like I get a lot of feedback from students I've worked with about bias from instructors and other university resources. And I just kind of want to make two requests, which is that all of our resources for students are informed about, in some way, the language variations that are present among our very diverse student population, and the fact that the ways that students speak are systems, and how to teach students to adapt these systems to excel the way I know everyone can here, to eliminate this feeling that I get from students that they are not accepted and their ability to communicate their abilities is diminished as a result of bias against the kind of English they speak. And the second one is that you talked about a committee, a UAC committee. I think on campus, faculty, people who work in the success programs are the best people that you could probably start to accumulate on this committee, because we are the people students come to when they are feeling defeated. That's all.
I want to thank you for your comment. And again, you have brought up a very important topic. And it is one that I feel we will make progress through our climate study. And that's why it is so important, and I would ask you to please encourage students to participate in our climate study, because that will give us the temperature, if you will, of our campus and what kinds of things students are going through, how they feel. Not just students, but faculty and staff. But I know that some of, and what you're saying, impacts greatly our students. But it also impacts their success. So please, please, please encourage all of you, go to the website and make sure that you participate in our climate survey and our climate study. And at the end of the study, it's important to know that there will be recommendations. So this is not just an exercise that you go through and you talk to some people and they go away and then they come back. There will be concrete recommendations. There will be an assessment, but also those very important recommendations. So I would say over this next year, as we're going through this process, that it will be very important that we all participate, because on the other side of that, we will have, some concrete recommendations. In the meantime, if students feel that they are not being treated the way they should be, they have resources. They have resources. They have their department chair. They have their dean. If necessary, they have their provost. No student should feel less than on our campus. That is not our goal. Our goal is to uplift. So again, there are resources, and you are right there with the students. So any help that you need, please, let's try to direct students to the right office. And thank you for your comment.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Isaura Pulido. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a chair in the College of Ed, and I also do our HSI work on campus. This is less of a question, perhaps, and more of a comment. And first of all, Dr. Gibson, I want to say that I have really appreciated your leadership and your support for our institution as an HSI, for our institution as almost reaching that threshold as a minority serving institution. To really serve our students, to realize our mission, and to really be able to serve our students' needs. So I say that because I want to lead with that. At the same time, I'm also concerned and worried, and I've expressed these concerns to you, and I want to take this opportunity to express these concerns to the rest of the cabinet and the leadership. That we remember who we are, but also that we are looking at who today's college students are. I gave a presentation, the Council on the Status of Latinos gave a presentation to a subcommittee of the Board of Trustees last week, and one of the things that I noted in that presentation was that students of color made up 40% of undergraduate students in 2018. In 2016, and they made up 32% of graduate students. And yet the college faculty, staff, and administrators remain predominantly white. I also noted that even thinking about just college students, right, at large. 1 in 5 is at least 30 years old, 1 in 4 is caring for a child, 47% go to a school part-time, at least at some point in their educational trajectory. A quarter takes a year off before starting school. 2 out of 5 attend 2-year community colleges, and 44% have parents who have never completed a bachelor's degree. I say that just as a reminder that as we're thinking about these various initiatives, that we really think about that. At a recent institute at Excelencia in Education, the CEO and founder, Sarita Brown, mentioned that while we tend to think of college students as being the traditional student, or sometimes we kind of, think about that as who we are trying to cater to, that the reality is that that is no longer the typical student in college today, that makes up about 15% of students, and that 85% of students are really these students that I just mentioned here. So as we think about the kinds of initiatives that we undertake, I would really want us to work together and be mindful of who we're serving, as we're thinking about athletics and other kinds of initiatives, right? Who are we really catering to, and that we're not trying to reminisce or evoke, students that no longer really represent college students today. And then the second thing is just that the cabinet and the leadership works collaboratively with the folks here on the ground who are doing the work, who meet students every day, during office hours, and really hear their challenges. Because sometimes I think that, policy at this level could be very well-intentioned, but it also could be disconnected from the realities on the ground. And so I think that if we work together, we will do a much better job of meeting the needs of all of our students. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment. And I tried to be intentional when I was talking about students. So whether they are 17, 18-year-olds, adult learners, veterans, transfer students, students with different ability levels, 728, something like that. So we're a little unique in that way, and that's great. But our job is to provide an education for all students who come to our university. What I want to say about the sports thing, that's kind of a dream, but sports can be for everyone, right? Sunday, about 100 people, myself included, we came out for the 5K. And yeah, we came out for the 5K. And athletics, I think, is for everyone. I'm not looking at athletics as, let's go to this tournament or that tournament, but just a way where we can all be involved, we can share, we can have school spirit. So I don't want you I don't want any of you to go off too far with the athletics thing, but I do think it would be great. We have to work collaboratively. We no longer, and I'm not saying that this is what we have done, but I've certainly seen it, and I think some of you've probably seen it too, where we're all in our little silos. We can't work in little silos. We have to work collaboratively. We have to work across. And one of the things that, frankly, that I'm very proud of my leadership team is that they do that. So you have Danielle Lopez, who is working with Dennis Rome, who is working with John Friday, who is working with Liesel, who is working with Ann, who is working with... So we cannot function that way. We cannot function that way in a silo as a leadership team, and the campus cannot function that way. There is much to be learned. I believe in lifelong learning, and we can learn from each other. So I appreciate your point about collaboration. It is very, very important for the university.
Thank you, President Gibson. My name is Rosa Salazar, and I'm an adult student here at NIU under a full-time scholarship, which I'm very honored and blessed to have. I am a communications, media, and theater major with extreme passion for theater and acting. I had the blessing of, I'm also I work full-time, I'm a full-time single mother, and I commute over 2 hours to campus. I live in Rockford. So I'm here at least twice a week, and it's great because it's worth it. One of the things that I have been blessed with is prior I had a media career, so I worked for Univision and other major Chicago outlets for media, and I see the passion in the instructors at the theater department. They've come from renowned theaters all over the world. They've studied at the best of universities. You have Loyola quality, you have Columbia quality, AFI, so many other ones. And one of the things I feel is like even some of the productions in the theater department have been directed by main actors from the Chicago series. And it also, in the news, CineSpace Chicago is the second largest film studios now in the country. So a lot of the Hollywood productions are coming to Chicago. And as a passionate theater student, I would like to know what are some of the initiatives that are being taken to put the university in a spotlight for more theater and film recognition?
That is a very specific question. And I do appreciate that question. I have gone to a few theater productions, and they have been just awesome. We have a new provost who I'm not sure can address that.
We have Dean Bill Jordan, who can speak to that specifically.
We're not trying to pass the buck, but we want to get you the best answer.
Exactly. Aren't there money in a place where you just get to?
I was going to speak to.
Yeah. It's on our list,
Okay.
yes. Go ahead,
I
please.
think my better answer is what has been attempted over the
interest in working with us. We were at committee meeting last year, and they have wonderful space.
Yeah.
They don't have programming. And so they're looking for ways to partner with us. And so I think on the horizon, with resources, with energy and enthusiasm from the institution that has been in the theater CMT department for many years, I think we'll see a bright future. So.
Thank you for that. Lisa would like to add one.
I just wanted to share that if you've seen the recent In Common magazine, there is an alumna named Mary Santana of ours who began a wonderful theater program called the Miracle Center that's in Logan Square and Hermosa neighborhoods that members of our theater faculty have been partnering with to find ways that we can work together. And so that's another one. Please do check out the cover story of the magazine. It's wonderful. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Matthew Rado. I'm a CMT major with a minor in Justice Studies. I have a question. How would you respond to students who are dissatisfied with the quality of education? The reason I ask is that one of my teachers last semester actually stopped classes to share with us the negative trajectory of enrollment. She explained that students were enrolling at the same rate, and the consensus amongst the class was that the quality of education just wasn't up to snuff. What happened in my personal experience is that I had one teacher last semester who abandoned the class almost and came to 1/4 of the classes to go to New Orleans. We still had to pay for that class. This semester, I have a teacher who is so disorganized that he rambles on and misses the core point of the lectures. So instead of teaching us what the foundation or definition, he'll give us random examples. If we want to have a secondary source to refer to, we have to read a book, an unpublished book that he's writing. So in my personal, I'm a 4.0 student. I learn so that I could utilize this information in my future studies and my future professions. I feel like some of the teachers here are appealing to the lowest kind of student, the student who doesn't want to invest the energy, effort, and commitment to actually graduate with anything above a C. So what about us students who are trying to learn so that we can succeed for the rest of our lives and support our families? I actually did bring this up to the Justice Studies Department as well. My concerns were dismissed under the guise that I wasn't receptive to the idea that white Americans commit atrocities in the United States of America. I'm a half-black student. I identify as moderate liberal. I'm aware of everything that has gone on in America. I'm in tune with the history of America and how white discrimination against the African American demographic has created disadvantages that have yet to be overcome. Now, but when I say I need to know the definition of what restorative justice is, what retributive justice is, and I'm not getting that because one teacher decided that the class was a secondary concern and another teacher just comes disorganized, then I can't go on to my next class and feel adequately prepared.
Thank you for that comment. We are an institution of higher education. We have qualified faculty. And our goal is that you and every student receive the highest quality of education. And I know that that is happening because we have evidence of that happening because we have very, very successful students who go out and have very successful careers. So, there are times when, for whatever reasons, there may be faculty who are not as prepared. I'll say it as generally as I can.